With the recent closure of local bars, some neighborhood musicians worry the landscape is changing for live music. I'm Kendall Grant in the Midtown neighborhood, checking out how those closures are impacting area performers. Chris Skeen says the music scene in Tallahassee is a bit different than in the 2010s.
There were several more mid-sized venues like the Bradfordville Blues Club that were the appropriate size for hosting local bands that would sell tickets and draw crowds, but are sort of smaller venues than, say, the Moon or Cascades.
With Midtown bars like Vino Bino, Barrel Proof Lounge, and the Overhang closing their doors, he says the landscape is changing further.
It's a little bit of a shame when you see things like this happen, because it really does impact the live music community and the musicians who play.
He runs musiclocal.org, a website tracking live performances in town. He says midweek performances have dwindled.
These midweek shows are really important because they sort of fill gaps. You can play them as a solo or a duo or a trio, and they fill gaps in your schedule where the weekends might be for larger band shows.
Skeen worries the lack of these opportunities could drive artists away.
Musicians actually go off to different areas of the country, they go off to different forms of work, and so the scene itself suffers and takes a little bit of time to recover.
But Bianca Herndon is trying to change that at her venue, the Soundbar.
We actually have a different outlook, as well as I know some of the other venues here in town, is that they're not competition. We actually prefer to work alongside other venues because it is that important to have a place for our local musicians to go.
And she says she's been working to support those wanting to go into music.
We're looking to sponsor a 7th grade student for just instrument expenses. They're not cheap. Also doing the same for a marching band student once a year, because marching band, especially when you get into the competitions and the festivals and stuff like that, becomes expensive. I mean, all the way down to just the shoes that they wear.
While there have been city projects to support Cascades Park and College Town in the past, Skeen hopes maybe the same can be done for Midtown.
From a public policy perspective, being mindful when those subsidies are provided to those growth areas, perhaps providing equivalent subsidies to other areas so that small businesses can successfully compete.
If you want to help support local artists, head to musiclocal.org for a list of performances no matter what neighborhood you're in. In Midtown, Kendall Brandt, ABC 27.